Welcome to the Joyful Mate podcast. Join your joyful journey mentor, Anthony Hartcher, as we explore the path to inner joy and fulfillment. Each episode we dive into the science of happiness, share personal insights, and invite you to be part of this interactive book writing adventure. You'll hear from experts in the field of joy, happiness, and fulfillment who will share their wisdom and experiences. Let's embark on this journey together. Let's make happiness part of your everyday. Welcome, Gina, on the Joyful Mate podcast. How are you?
I'm good, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm rich, I'm beautiful, and all the good traits that you can think of, that's me. How are you,
Wow.
Anthony?
Fantastic. I'm doing really well. It's sweltering heat in Sydney, but it's no different to what it would be in the Philippines. It's just hot, and you're used to hot.
Yeah, but great. Fortunately, we have a great weather. It's cold and it's hot, not unlike the usual one, which is really very hot, like an oven. As if I'm in Sydney now. I was in Sydney on the 20th of December till the 6th, and I love it. And I said to myself, why did I not try to be there? But the answer came out right away that if I'm in Sydney, I'll not be able to do the great things that I'm doing here in the country.
Wow. So just bring the listeners up to speed with who you are, what you do, and some insight about you.
Okay, so I'm Gina Jessica Gutianjo, and I just learned that my second name is so beautiful because I came to know that Jessica, the meaning of it is God is looking. Now, I know there are some people who don't believe God or who call God as another name, so you can call him whatever that you love to call him, but I call him God, universe, divine. So I really believe that God is looking after me. There is a meaning for my existence here in the world, and I am doing the mission now. So, and then I became a CPA, a certified public accountant, through the help of the servants of God, whom we call it here the nuns. So I grew up without a father. But luckily, I met my father after 21 years when I was inside the care of the Good Shepherd sisters. They are nuns, if you're familiar with nuns. So they're the religious people. So we consider them as people who are serving God. So you see, without a father and with a mother, I don't blame my mother. She was also a victim. So she wasn't able to take care of me the best that she can. But God was with her and I survived. So I finished my schooling through the help of the nuns. I became a CPA and I intended to go back to being a nun. I wanted to serve God as a religious person. I don't know if all can relate, but I wanted to be a nun, not a people outside the world. But then the nuns insisted that I should finish my schooling. That's why I have to finish the accountancy that I started. And then when I finish it, they said that I have to continue being a licensed certified public accountant, which I did. And I successfully passed the board exam. And then after that, I wanted to go back. And then they said, you you work in the world, so you will know that if you are really called for the religious life. So I followed them, but luckily I wasn't able to remain myself as a single so that I can continue the life of the religious. So I married, and it was a wrong marriage, I think, but I don't know if it's the stepping stone that I will become a very strong person, because I was very weak before. I don't have self-esteem. So I'm a doormat. I was a doormat. Then, because of that failed marriage, I became so strong. I was able to fight for myself. I was able to realize that I have rights. But then it was not an easy way. It was a horrible past. I had depression. I was in a psychiatric ward. But because I have a mission to do, so I was able to get up from the ashes. And from the depression, I was able to survive without taking the drugs. We might say it as a miracle, because the tool that helped me survive depression without drugs is a audio tool from the US. It's called HoloSync. It is produced by centerpoint.com. What's the name of the guy? But it's available. So until now, I still have my subscription. The very first night that because it was not so advanced in technology before when I had that. It was a CD. It was shipped from the US. Imagine that. It took days. When the CD arrived, I already prepared my stereo sound headset and the player. So I played it right away. My goodness, it was a day that I cannot forget. As if I was bathed with ice cold water when I heard the audio. The next day, I was a different Gina. I became so inspired to live. I was so inspired to the point that I have to do some exercises. I was so fat. I can eat a kilo of a fruit like banana, mango. Because at first I took the what you call this? I took the antidepressant drugs, and it had a very bad effect on me. So I had to eat a lot. I was like a zombie. That very first day that I listened to that, it was different. And then I was so consistent in listening to it as per the instruction, and to the point that the very big Gina became so slim. And the face changed so much. How I wish I could have pictures of that from the before HoloSync and during HoloSync, but I don't have. But then you can see now, you can see the difference. But then that was just an initial. I wasn't transformed yet. Then the recent miracle that happened was this last year, to end of February. And that's a very memorable date for me because that was also the date that I met my father for the first time after 21 years inside the convent. Imagine that. So then I was listening to Eddie Pinero's inspirational talk, if you're familiar with him.
No, I'm
Okay.
not.
I just came to, Google algorithm, whatever you love, whatever you say follow, they will just introduce. So then I was listening for how many days, and then suddenly on that very day, the 11th of Feb, it was introduced to me, Louise Hay, Louise, Hay. So I love her voice, and oh it was hair raising when she introduced that we have to love ourselves. It's my very first time at 61 years old. I came to realize that we have to love ourselves. And it was amazing. And that's the start of the very new Gina, second or third version, whatever it may be. And that's now the expression of my face now is the result of the affirmations that I am practicing from that day onwards up to this day. In terms of career, I'm still working at 62, serving several Australian and US clients. And that's another miracle because how can you imagine a very simple person in the Philippines without any ads can be known to several customers in Australia and US. So I know that God sent someone to introduce to me how to do the online work because I really wanted when internet was introduced, I'm not so techy. So my heart is saying that, oh, you can use the internet to find work and have money because I have always this desire to help people. As I was helped, I want to pay forward. And then one day, a group of students came to our house because my partner is in a business and they wanted to have case study of the business. Before they left, I really expressed my need. Yeah, I know you're young ones and you're very highly you have ideas of technology. Can you help me find a work online? And then one said, Mom, I can help you. You know Odesk? I go, no, I don't know. And then, Mom, you can create your account in Odesk and then you can look for work. And then, so when they left, immediately with my small laptop and a very slow internet, I created my account. Then, as I always say, that God is looking after me. There was a first U.S. customer who hired me, and then he said, "Can you give me a rundown of your resources?" And then so I had a video with that small laptop, small table inside the bedroom, and then he said, "Oh, Gina, are you aware that the online work is a multi-million business?" And I said, no, I just want to have a salary. No, it is a multi-million business. You prepare yourself. What you have now is a Volkswagen. What you need is a delivery van. So upgrade your internet, buy a high-end hardware, have an office, and then you will enjoy the fruits of that. So I followed him. I had an office. It's not really an office. It was just a cabinet, a cabinet made of wood, and then a small room that was secluded. And then I had another video with my new set. And then he said, okay, so that's a start. And then later on, I realized, or I came to know that the guy is, I forgot the name again. He is a Jew. And you know the Jews, right? They're so close to God. And then he called me Jessica, which I really wondered because usually it's my first name, Gina. But he calls me. Then I check what is Jessica, and then that's when I found out that Jessica, God is looking. So he was a prophet. After all the setup, he was gone. And then here comes the first Australian who hired me right away. And we're going 13 years already. And then after that, plenty of clients are inviting me. I'm no longer applying. They invite me and I have to refuse. And then after 2 years, after refusing several clients because I'm just one, an inspiration came and said, why would you not invite for additional staff? Because, I mean, you can multiply yourself. And I said, yeah, it's a good idea. So I did. Now we're three, we're four. We don't fit on that small office. We have to transfer to a spare bedroom. And then later we're big again. In 2020, when the pandemic hit the world, I told my partner, how about creating an office on the second floor of our garage so I can have a big office. And then he followed, and here's now I am here now in that office. And then before that year, we were in Vietnam, and I was so inspired with the rooftop garden. So I told him after the second floor, can we have the third floor as a rooftop? And then he said he followed, and then I have now a rooftop garden, which is my inspiration because I had trees and plants and herbs there. I have my heaven. Okay, I can enjoy bliss there at the rooftop, watching the skies and the moon and the stars at night, and I can enjoy the wind, the cold wind. So that's it. I am enjoying life. And then so I when I run, I jog every day. I have to do my affirmations or listening to Louise Hayes and other inspirational speakers.
Wow, what a story! It's really inspirational. Just from the very beginning, and there's so much to talk about here, but like that initial feeling as a kid that I'm not wanted. I don't have a mum, and mum and dad couldn't bring me up, and I'm with the nuns, and so am I worthy of love? And I think there was certainly a concern there is, am I lovable? And you got kept going through life, and then you realize how important it was to love yourself, and that's been a real milestone and building block. But just circling back to the centerpoint.com, that CD that you put in and you listened to, and the next day you felt like a new person. What were you listening to?
It's the sound of the rain. I assume a gong. I can share to you the link, and I can even share to you my access to that. It's really an amazing sound. It's a Zen sound. So then, water is therapy. And the sound of a gong also, right? And then it's scientifically produced. And then because later when I was subscribing, I was requested to record affirmations which are embedded on the audio. I cannot hear them. And then so that's when I started. I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm rich. But the very author that's the source of that is Catherine Ponder, The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity, which I mentioned to you when I had my that book was given by Anthony Peña. So that's why I said, what is in Anthony and Antonio? So Anthony Peña gave me that dynamic laws of prosperity, which is the start of this prosperous life, I can say. And then my partner is Antonio, and he has a son, Anthony. So that's why my son and Antonio's son is called Jesse Antonio. Jesse from the roots of Jesse, the biblical name. And then we just inserted Antonio, the name of his dad.
Wow. Wow.
And then here comes Anthony,
Yes.
my very first podcast.
Yes. So, St. Anthony, you called it like you pray to St. Anthony if you've lost something and you're looking for, yeah, yeah.
That's the
And, yeah,
favorite saint
yeah.
of my mom. That's why when she really have to leave the world, when I leave Earth, please let me wear brown, something brown. So before we don't even have the idea that she will leave, I already had the dress sewn, prepared. So that's why few days before she left, she said, "Bring out the dress." She was really ready. And do you know what made her leave Earth very peacefully? Because she had also a horrible life and she don't know how to love herself. That's why she cannot go. It was Louise Hay's Affirmations that I introduced to her on Holy Thursday night. So I went home because that's a long holiday in Australia. And then right away when I arrived, I told my sister, bring a mirror. It was a pink mirror, a big one, and then I told her recite after me. So her name was Elsa. I said, "I love you, Elsa. I am good. I am lovable. Everything that Louis Hay said." And she followed me to the letter. And she did that for the next 18 days because she was really dying already. She had a failed lungs, but she survived for 1 year. She cannot go because she's so afraid to die. And then I told her, God will not take you. You have to go home. And when you go home, you have to bring love. That's all that you can bring. And then when she learned about that, when she came to love herself, she left Earth peacefully. And it was a whole day process. It started in the morning, and then all the children has to call. The very, very first child of hers in Sydney, the one who has cancer now, forgot to call her even though I reminded her on that very morning. She reminded her on that at night. It was late already when my sister who was watching my mom said, Mom can no longer continue. So I told my sister, did you call? I forgot. So when my sister called, right away, she went home without any effort. That fear that she had was lost. It was very peaceful to the point that you can no longer recognize her face. It's so different from the Elsa who survived Earth for 86 years, full of wrinkles and sorrows and worries. The Elsa who left Earth was very peaceful and loving. So it's really a miracle. And if you know how me and my mom was, we are enemies. We were enemies. She cannot call me on my birthdays to greet me. That's why on my 59th birthday, what I did was to give her gifts to so she will remember it was my birthday. So then she was so surprised. Why? What's wrong? What's happening? And then my sister has to say, it was Gina's birthday and she wants you to remember. So she cried a lot. So oh my God, lots of miracle that's happening. So from HoloSync Center Point to Louise Hay's Affirmations are really milestones.
Incredible. And it's a lot of you seeking too, like, so you've always been looking to serve, and I think because you're open to serving, you attract people that need that service, and hence how you've grown your business, hence how you've found yourself in this process of seeking. So everything that, you know, like as they say, the law of attraction, right? And so at each point when you're ready to go to the next level, the right person or the right thing just was put in front of you, but you're ready to receive that because you were seeking that to begin with, and that seeking to serve others and seeking to do the best Gina can do and be the best expression of Gina. And so it's fantastic to see that. And like I just go back to that center point, and you mentioned it was like, you mentioned, like, was it a waterfall or rain?
Waterfalls.
Waterfalls.
It's waterfalling.
With a gong.
With a gong, the sound of the gong.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So, and did they know that you were suffering depression?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Okay.
When I had my depression, I got a call from my auntie in the US. We were not close, but I was so surprised. She called me and then she told me, Gina, now that you have depression, don't be dependent on the doctor, on the Western doctor, the psychiatrists. Find some alternative way. And then I Googled, I searched, and I found that it just came. I don't know about them. It just came. And then, Anthony, I don't have credit cards before. I don't like credit cards. I was so surprised before that day, a card arrived in my place. Was posted to my place. I didn't apply. I was so surprised. And then when I opened the envelope, there's a dollar, US dollar credit line. Imagine very first, no credit card record. But here comes the card without applying and with an USD credit line for the purpose to be used to buy that HoloSync because it's a dollar. And you know what? I don't know those kind of stuff, but then, I was able to buy it using my card, USD, and then I can pay it in installment. It's really miracle. Miracle. It's, my God, it's so amazing.
Yeah.
That's why I keep on buying the what you call this, the levels. I'm already on the third level. But then when I was already well, I didn't continue already, but I can still use them. I can let others borrow. And I still have my online account. It's no longer CD. It's already MP3. It's very easy to listen. It's lovely. And my God, it will really transform you physically and spiritually and emotionally.
Like I was just thinking in terms of like water is healing, nature sounds is healing, and what they do is they help get our brainwaves down to the alpha wavelength, and then that sinks to the heart, and so what the process did to you was sync the brain and heart and align the two of them, and that's why you woke up the next day totally a different person, because prior to that you were stuck in your mind, like you were concerned about, like, I'm not lovable, my parents didn't want me, I've been brought up by nuns, and it's quite stressful not having a mum and dad like other kids, and so in some ways you're stuck in your head and thinking that the world was unfair and not serving you, and then you opened yourself up enough to then think, but listen to others. So you listen to others in terms of look for alternatives, right? Look for alternatives. You can't rely and be so dependent on medicine. And so you listened to others, you became very open, and that allowed, I guess, the universe to come in, and hence that's CD, and everything aligned around the CD, right? In terms of you being able to afford it, being able to actually process the transaction because you had a credit card, and you didn't have a credit card, you didn't even apply for it. It was the right amount of money. And so everything just aligned for you and then when you received it, you're open, open to listening and being open to receiving what it had for you. And that aligned the brain and the heart. And once you got that connection to your heart, you found love with yourself eventually. You found that, yes. And then that's opened up more opportunities by having an open heart.
Yes. It's really true that we are energy.
Yes.
And the universe is energy. So I am part of the vast energy.
100%.
Yeah.
So they were tapped in to exactly what you need. That's why I asked, did you actually tell them that you were depressed when asking for that CD? But they sent you the one that was perfectly at the right frequency for your depression, right? So
correct.
It was at the perfect frequency, tuned to the perfection of that timing of the waterfall and the gong sound. And it was just really got your beta waves down to alpha. It synced with the heart, and that integration, you became you. You found you. Yes.
The real you.
Yes.
But then that was just an initial. That was the reformation first part. And then the last year was really the most amazing one, the Louis Hayes affirmation. So that's, oh my God, I'm not saying, it's not bad to say that I am perfect. I can say I am perfect because the God in me is perfect. I have nothing to ask for. I am the perfect me. So this is now the real happiness, which is the purpose of your podcast. So in this happiness, I'll not be able to I'll not be able to tell the world of the fake or the worldly happiness, but the real happiness, which is happening deep inside us, which many people are searching but they cannot find. That's why they buy cars and look for other worldly things that cannot satisfy them, because money can't be bought by money. I mean, cannot be bought by money. So it's free deep inside.
Yes, you got to go looking, and that's what you were doing. You were
Yeah.
looking,
Yeah.
and you found it within.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And now you're allowing it to just exuberate into the world, like
Yeah.
the
Spread.
yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's an amazing life. It's really a beautiful life. This is the life that others are saying, "What beautiful life are you talking about? I'm poor, I'm this, I'm that." But if they only know how to uncover the real person that they are, to tap on that very supreme being who's the source of everything, intelligence, prosperity, financial or good health, whatever prosperity is, that they will become. And they will never say that they are poor anymore, because look at the universe. It's a very beautiful place.
Absolutely. But it really gets back to that, like, if you look at society today, there's very much, it's very outward looking. And I think people get stuck in the external world, and they're not connecting with the inner world, because the only way you can connect with your inner world is like you did, is you need to be in a peaceful environment. You need to be surrendering. You need to be alone and not having inputs. Like, you need to really connect within, and to do that you need to disconnect from the outside world.
Correct.
And that's what you did with that CD, that initial centerpoint.com CD, was that it brought you into your inner world, and it was a world unexplored before that. And I think the challenge today for people is to disconnect with the outer world and in connect with the inner world, and that once they discover themselves is then reconnect with the outer world. It's like it, but the thing is, the outer world is distracting. There's like consumerism, there's ads, there's everything trying to attract our attention, and it's very hard to disconnect from it. And it's even more so today with technology. So I think that's a big challenge. And with the focus on the outside world, it becomes overwhelming, because you lose yourself, because you're thinking, I should, if I see this person as being happy, so maybe I need to copy them and do what they did to get happy. But as you said, happiness comes from within, and it's completely unique to the individual. And so what made them happy may not make you happy. But we're constantly comparing through social media. We're constantly comparing, and we constantly get lost in this external world without the connection with the inner world, which you found, where you found happiness.
Yeah. So, but then you mentioned that it's hard to disconnect. But you know what? Because we know that each of us is unique from each other. We don't have the same patterns. We don't have the same journey. But I tell you, one will be given challenges that will make them really go so low that there's no point to go down but to rise up. And that's what happened to me.
Yes.
When I was in the psychiatric ward, I tell you, the very moment I was in the reception area, I didn't like their treatment. And someone said deep inside me, "You do not belong here." That's why when the next day when I was there, I said, "I want to go out." And they said, "No, you cannot." "Why?" "You do have to do everything that we will ask you to do." And I told them, "Give me all those assignments. I'll do them so I can get out the next day." I did. I did.
Well done.
I did. And then, oh my gosh. But then it was not really easy to go out from that, because I was still a zombie with the effect of the antidepressant. But God never spared me, never abandoned me. That's when the HoloSync came. So he really doesn't want to destroy me. From the very day that I was born, without a father and a victim mother, a narcissist, thankfully she did not abort me, because I really I have a mission. When I was inside the convent, the very purpose of being there is to forgive my mom, because I really wanted to kill her. So, and then I even told the nun, "If life is good, it has been good if I was thrown in the river, because my mom will tell me, I could have thrown you in the river. And then she will always wish bad things for me. That's why the pain was really. So when I was in the convent, nuns had to bring me to a therapist what you call this, a center to heal me. I have to box pillows, I have to shout, I have to cry, and then so the initial bulk of pain was removed, because I have suicidal attempts, but it never happened. Several attempts never happened. Um, so that's why now I can realize that I have to live this life perfectly, because how can I go home? I was told by the owner of the therapy center, oh, your soul is so tired already. It has come back several times on this earth. Make sure that when it's with you, you have to perfect it so that it will be rested already. So I'm trying my very best that this soul in me will not come back and stay there when I go home. So I have lots of dreams. Plan to retire and still serve the earth by teaching children, because so I was deprived as a child. I want to help some children to be loved. So I will give them what I can. At this time, due to limited resources, I can only send a few students to school. Like right now, I have 3 college students that I'm sending from the income that I'm receiving from this online work. So before
Wow.
I had 20, care of World Vision, if you know World Vision.
Yes.
So I had 20, but I had to stop that because I don't know the children. I want to have children whom I can really see physically, and no admin charges from the donation, that because I've been giving direct to them as tuition fees. And then because I want to march with the graduates, because when I graduated, my mom wasn't there. So I want to be a mom who can, an adopted mom to these scholars.
Amazing. Amazing. How that perceived void in your life is now providing such fulfillment in your life now.
Yeah.
It's incredible, and it's fulfilling other people's lives in the process. So it's so nice to hear your story, Gina. It's been, a wonderful discussion, and like your story is I guess it really showcases where happiness can be found. And as you said, it's found from within. It's finding your voice as well. Like, as you mentioned, you really found your voice once you left your husband, and now you want to share your voice to the world, which is fantastic. And you're doing that through this podcast, which is just so awesome. Like, it's just amazing how everything's just coming into your life because you're ready to receive it, and you've got a very open heart.
Thank you so much for seeing
Yes.
that, Anthony. We haven't seen each other physically, but because of the sharings, you can read.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. We can see each other online, and I can see how connected you are from within, just because you're glowing. You got to read the aura coming out of you is amazing, and the expressions coming out of you is amazing. The openness coming out of you is amazing, and that's allowing us to really connect at this energetic level, even though we're not physically talking or physically ever met each other. We are connected through the ether or the spirit, that unites
Yeah.
the universe. So
Yeah.
it's wonderful to tap into that. It's so wonderful to meet you, and it's been a delight to have you on the podcast. How can the listeners, viewers, best connect with you?
I really don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe when this will be continued, then I'll be able to reach out to them. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they'll find you if they really want to, like as everything sort of just came into your life when you were ready to receive it, right? And I think it would be the same for the listeners and viewers, that Gina will arrive in front of them at the right time.
yeah, I mean, I know the universe, the divine will make a way. And this one, I know this will not be the first and the last. And
Definitely not.
I can hear from my heart that I can be a speaker one day, like Louis Hay. So he will make a way.
And you already started. You've
Yeah.
started that journey.
fr-
Yes,
from my
absolutely.
little surroundings. Yeah.
100%. Like, because you know, like I presented you the opportunity. You know, you just grasped the opportunity, said yes, yes, yes. I'm so excited, and you've turned up today, and you've shared your story so openly, and it's such an engaging story that I can see this ballooning, right? It's going to expand, and your voice and that spirit within you is going to vibrate the universe, you know, and help so many other people in their
Yes.
journey. Yeah, so
Yeah. So I don't know if my dream, because my dream is going back to the rural area. Maybe that's not God's plan. Maybe that's because there we have dreams sometimes that is not fitted to the tail the plan of the universe. So but I'm so open to follow whatever is that. And uh, I mean, fortunately, at this time, I'm living a life without fear, without judgment, without worries. So I know I will really grow and bloom where I am
100%.
planted.
100%. Yes, you're unstoppable when you've transcended fear and judgment. So and that you're connected with love, and that heart brain connection is just, you know, and that's the soul, right? So your soul is now expressing itself, and everything's in sync with, you know, everything's aligned, and you're radiating. So I can really see you being on the stage and sharing your story and really helping others live a more fulfilling life. So thank you so much, Gina, for coming on the Joyful Mate podcast.
Thank you so much, Anthony, for this invite, and I love it. And I offer this to the universe. Thank you for
Fantastic.
considering me. It was just my client, and now here's us to get. I mean, directly. Thank you so much, and I wish you everything that is really good and best. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Gina, and we'll certainly have you back on the show.
Wow. I'm
Yes,
looking forward to that.
yes, for part
Yeah.
two. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Part two of Gina's journey. Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
And
Thank you.
you're welcome. And to the listeners, please share this with others that you know this will really resonate with. So anyone you know that you believe that Gina's story will help inspire them, please share it with them. And that would really be magnificent in terms of getting Gina's story out there and being more impactful and resonating with others and helping inspire a new generation. So please share it with others, and thank you for listening.
Yeah, that in the future I'll be allowed to share. I have lots of things to share in terms of alternative medications and everything. I'm being called here as a doctora, a doctor, but not the Western one. Yeah, welcome, welcome. Have a great
Yes,
one. Thank
yes,
you.
absolutely. We'll keep that as part two. So
Yeah.
thank you. Yes.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.